أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ونبئهم عن ضيف إبراهيم إذ دخلوا عليه فقالوا سلاما قال إنا منكم وجنون قالوا لا توجل إنا نبشرك بغلام عليم قال أبشرتموني على أن مسني الكبر فبم تبشرون قالوا بشرناك بالحق فلا تكن من القانطين قال ومن يقنط من رحمة ربه إلا الضالون قال فما خطبكم أيها المرسلون قالوا إنا أرسلنا إلى قوم مجرمين إلا آل لوط إنا لمنجوهم أجمعين إلا امرأته قدرنا إنها لمن الغابرين فلما جاء آل لوط المرسلون قال إنكم قوم منكرون قالوا بل جئناك بما كانوا فيه يمترون وأتيناك بالحق وإنا لصادقون فأسر بأهلك بقطع من الليل واتبع أدبارهم ولا يلتفت منكم أحد وامضوا حيث تؤمرون وقضينا إليه ذلك الأمر أن دابر هؤلاء مقطوع مصبحين وجاء أهل المدينة يستبشرون قال إن هؤلاء ضيفي فلا تفضحون واتقوا الله ولا تخزون قالوا أولم ننهك عن العالمين قال هؤلاء بناتي إن كنتم فاعلين لعمرك إنهم لفي سكرتهم يعمهون فأخذتهم الصيحة مشرقين فجعلنا عاليها سافلها وأمطرنا عليهم حجارة من سجيل إن في ذلك لآيات للمتوسمين وإنها لبسبيل مقيم إن في ذلك لآية للمؤمنين صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in verse 51 of Surah Al-Hijr, وَنَبِّئْهُمْ عَنْ ضَيْفِ إِبْرَاهِيمِ, and inform them of Ibrahim ﷺ's guests, Mehman. إِذْ دَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ, when they entered his presence, فَقَالُوا سَلَامًا, they greeted with salam. قَالَ, Ibrahim ﷺ said, إِنَّا مِنْكُمْ وَجِلُونَ, we are afraid of you. قَالُوا, they said, لا توجل, do not be afraid. إنا نبشرك بغلام عليم, we wish to convey to you the glad tidings of a knowledgeable child. قال, he said, أبشرتموني على أن مسني الكبر فبما تبشرون, you give me these glad tidings when old age has afflicted me. فبما تبشرون, what glad tidings can you deliver? قالوا, they said, بشرناك بالحق, we convey to you the glad tidings of a reality. فلا تكن من القانتين, so do not become of the despondent ones. قال, he said, ومن يقنط من رحمة ربه إلا الضالون, only the deviant are despondent of Allah's mercy. This verse describes the meeting Ibrahim ﷺ had with certain angels. whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to Ebrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. They were given the responsibility of conveying the good news to Ebrahim alayhi salatu wassalam of a son to be born to him. And they were also commanded to punish the people of Hazrat Lut alayhi salatu wassalam. Now, since this was the first time Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam met them, so he told them that they were unfamiliar people. Who are you? What are you? What's happening here? So Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, as mehman, hospitality, he served a roasted lamb to them. Okay, subhanAllah. Mehman comes, served a roasted lamb. What do we learn from here? Hospitality. Hospitality. He didn't even know them. Normally we feed those people we know. But how? Yes, calm down. Those you don't know, chai bhai, big deal. These days we have to ask the Home Minister first before anything else. Otherwise we ain't going to get anything for the past whole week. Okay. So, but look at the Mehman Nawazi. The prophets taught this. In fact, in the hadith it mentions, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyukrim dayfa. He who believes in Allah and the last day should be hospitable towards the guests. And guests could be anyone, Muslim, non-Muslim, falyukrim dayfa. This is sign of a mu'min. Sign of a mu'min. He unfamiliar people, he doesn't even know them, and actually very strange, but still roasted lamb. Who's on first person comes to give roasted lamb to someone? You don't do that at all. Allah. But again, hospitality is part of Iman, part of Deen, part of Islam. To bring people close. People close. No one's hungry. Allah provides for everyone. Alhamdulillah. But just to feed people, to be hospitable. You know, people tell, have dawah at my house. Purpose? Muhabbat, love, ukhuwat. This is humanity being taught here. Humanity, insaniyat. Allah Akbar. So this is something that we need to learn. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, he was special in hospitality. It's mentioned regarding him, he would never eat alone. If the occasion comes, we have to eat alone, he'll go outside, look for someone, why come here? Ajib. And I also heard from my elders, my late grandfather, Maulana Ismail Sahib rahmatullah alayhi, that whenever out of the masjid he finds somebody, come and carry my house today. So hold the hand and come take her to the house to eat. Who's going to do that today? You think times have changed. Okay, the social dynamics have changed actually. There are very few people, the muhabbat was more there, we were there, whatever. Now it's extended, it's very, very difficult. Even in a wedding invitation you have to think, okay, bhai, kisko dawat de, who are you going to invite, you're not going to invite, or they might see it bad, they might not find it bad, we've had long relations with them, 30 years relation, our family was very close to them before. All this had to be taken into consideration. Nothing wrong in that. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, fine. Alhamdulillah. If it's done with the right intention, for muhabbat, don't do it because it's going to look bad. Do it by, chalo, khila do. Muslims, mu'min, brothers, sisters in the community. It brings about love. It brings about respect for one another. If that is the intention, subhanAllah. And sometimes you can't always give dawah every week. So these happy occasions or wedding occasions, walima occasions, that is an opportunity where we give everyone dawah. Why? Chalo koi baat nahi. Call them in. It's all to do with intention. Sometimes someone he's called 500 people. He could have called. Yes, fine. But maybe his intention is I've been living in the community for long. They've called me so many times as well. A bit of muhabbat. Chalo, let them all. Just come. In them day, people hardly had money. They didn't have much wealth. Then you have to look at that dynamics as well. Now, Allah has given, granted, and your intention, feed everyone. Chalo, everyone. Nothing. Ibrahim ﷺ not eating. Subhanallah. And then when he comes to the house, the family, obviously, you have to look at that. So best thing is that you have to make the zahn and then think of the fazila, given the fazila and the virtue of the women at home. But look at the virtue of being hospitable, sign of iman. When guests come, they bring barakah, they bring blessings. Subhanallah, they bring blessings. Subhanallah. One thing. Secondly, that they could be hungry, and you are feeding someone who is hungry. Allah Ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah will feed us. No one's going to say, I'm hungry. You're going to eat. And especially for musafir and travelers. That is even more important. Musafir and travelers, Allahu Akbar. Anyone come to you, traveler, have you eaten? Don't wait for him to tell you. Go to him. Go to that. Don't wait for him to come and ask. That is embarrassing. Bichara, in a basti like this, and no, he has to wait for someone for tea, wait for someone for food. That is wrong. By my money, have you eaten? Have you not eaten? No, come. Just think how much dua will come from that person. How much dua? Allahu Akbar. That dua could be a means of our forgiveness. And so many cases like this in the hadith of Bukhari, that dog was thirsty, no water to drink, and that woman, she was a prostitute, but she noticed that the dog is thirsty, took her socks out, whatever, and got water and gave to the dog. Allah granted her forgiveness. This is how much she gave respect and ikram to an animal, and Allah granted forgiveness. Human beings, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Human beings are ashraful makhluqat. Just think how much reward and ajr there is for serving human beings and looking after them and assisting them and helping them. Muslim, non-Muslim, it doesn't really matter. This is what Islam teaches. So musafir comes, take that into consideration. Balki even for a musafir is mentioned in the books of fiqh and hadith that they can even stay in the masjid for 3 days. They don't need to go to a hotel. If it's a musafir, 3 days they can definitely stay in the masjid. Wabdi sabil. But a musafir who doesn't even have money with him, you can even give him zakat if you cannot get the money. Zakat bhi de sakte. Just think how much consideration Islam takes for people who may be in need, who are vulnerable at this point. They're traveling. I remember once we were talking about this, and somebody, they need to go to a hotel. Why the masjid? Why the Sharia says masjid is there to cater for people. There's nothing take into consideration the security. People sometimes not all what they seem. You have to look at that. But if we know that someone is reliable, there's no issues at all, the background is good, we do our due diligence beforehand, by 3 days in the masjid. Ulama coming in our community, mashallah, they come to convey the message of Allah, deen, qurbani, whether they could be in another masjid. They don't have the accommodation. We do. By this Maulana, this mehman, they don't know, but bring them here. We will provide the food, we will provide the water, they can stay here for 3 days, no problem, inshallah. We provide everything. How much sawab and ajr get? And that's how the Sahaba dealt with all the guests as well. That's why the Ashab al-Suffah in Masjid al-Nabawi, the students of Deen there, day and night, they sleep there, they eat there, everything there. That was the first madrasa. That's why ulama also mentioned that when talaba and students are studying, do what you can to feed them, host them, be hospitable, everything they need in order for the talim. Very, very important. Everything they need. Because they are students. We think they are hakim. Madrasa. Whether they're cold, whether they're hot, whether they're warm. Their consideration taken first. Because they are sacrificing time for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are comforting in our cozy homes and they're giving sacrifice. So whenever guests come, and we know by now, come by bringing them to the masjid. How much sawab and ajr? Because remember why? You have to bear this mind. Masjid doesn't belong to me and you. It belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's waqaf. So when in waqaf and masjid belongs to Allah, the laws of Allah is important. Not my laws or anyone else's laws. The laws of Allah. What does the Sharia say? And you will notice a big difference when people will come by, this is hospitable, mashallah, warm and welcoming. It's all Islam. If we cannot even do this to our fellow Muslim brothers, how are we going to convey the Islam message to others? How are you going to bring them closer. Islam was spread through akhlaq, through good character. And this is so being hospitable, and even if you cannot give much, water, a date, that also suffice. Doesn't have to be a big lengthy meal. Water, kajur, milk, whatever we got. Hazir huzur. Nothing wrong in that. But look at the important Ebrahim ﷺ roasted lamb there and then. Okay. So Ebrahim ﷺ served a roasted lamb to them, but they did not eat. Why? Because they were angels, and angels do not eat. It's not in the nature to eat. So when they did not eat, he was surprised. What's going on here? So be afraid. Then said, La tawjal. La tawjal. Don't be afraid. Inna nubashirka bi ghulamin halim. Bi ghulamin halim. We wish to convey to you the glad tidings of a knowledgeable child. Subhanallah. Then he was surprised by, I'm old age, how am I going to get child? So they said, we are conveying you the news of reality from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are you doubting? Have you lost hope? People of taqwa, people of piety, they don't lose hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no matter what situation. Allahu Akbar. Sabak being taught every time. No matter what more difficult situation you may be in, never be despondent with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We go through these times in our lives, individually, collectively our Muslim going through difficult. But don't despair in the mercy of Allah ta'ala. What we need to do, we need to connect ourselves more stronger with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the most important thing. Like I said before, tawakkul has gone out of the window in our lives today. Trust in Allah, connection with Allah, it just doesn't mean anything. It's a bit of rituals that we are performing nowadays. The ruh is slowly going away. May Allah give us a tawfiq. Allah give us a tawfiq. Allah. Further on, Allah Ta'ala makes a mention. قَالَ فَمَا خَطْبُكُمْ أَيُّهَا الْمُرْسَلُونَ Ibrahim ﷺ said to the angels, what assignment have you been commissioned with, O messengers? What other assignment, task Allah has given you? قَالُوا They said, إِنَّا أُرْسِلْنَا إِلَىٰ قَوْمٍ مُجْرِمِينَ They said, we have been sent to a criminal nation, a nation committing a very immoral crime, meaning they've been sent to destroy them. Who was that? The Qawm and the nation of Lut alayhi salatu wassalam. Why? Because they were indulged in homosexuality. This amal was so despicable in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they were so stubborn. They were so stubborn. They were thinking they're doing good. No, we don't want anything else. Allahu Akbar. It went to that level. Allahu Akbar. Allah Ta'ala sent the angels to destroy them. Illa ala Lut, except the family of Lut. Inna lamunajjuhum ajma'in. We shall surely rescue all of them. I mean, all those who were in supportive of Lut alayhi salatu wasalam in his mission of trying to stop these people, they will be protected. Allahu Akbar. Illa imra'atahu qaddarna. Except his wife, we have decided that she be left behind. Innaha la min al-ghabirin. Why? Because she is to actually encourage people to come, go and indulge. Though she did not participate in the amal itself, but she should encourage them. Yeah, go ahead, nothing wrong with it, go, come. So not only those who commit the sin, but those who encourage it. Allahu Akbar. We go into a zamana where it's trying to be normalized, everything normal. And what's wrong with it? Nothing to do with this. That's fine. Even these words can take a person out of Iman. Something which is sinful, guna, crime in the eyes of Allah, it's haram, it's unlawful. And someone said, there's nothing wrong with it. That's something we cannot compromise. And this is it here. Khair. فَلَمَّا جَاءَ آلَ لُوطٍ الْمُرْسَلُونَ When the messengers came to the family of Lut, قَالَ إِنَّكُمْ قَوْمٌ مُنْكَرُونَ He said, indeed, you people are unfamiliar. قَالُوا بَلْ جِئْنَاكَ بِمَا كَانُوا فِي يَمْتَرُونَ They said, no, in fact, we have brought to you what they used to doubt. وَأَتَيْنَاكَ بِالْحَقِّ وَإِنَّا لَصَادِقُونَ We have brought the truth to you and we are of the truthful. فَأَسْرِ بِأَهْلِكَ بِقِطْعٍ مِّنَ اللَّيْلِ So travel with your family during a portion of the night. Meaning, the punishment is going to come. So what you need to do, travel in the night. Go. Referring to Lut alayhi salatu wasalam and all his followers. Okay, you need to go out of the night. Okay, وَاتَّبِعْ أَدْبَارَهُمْ وَلَا يَلْتَفِتْ مِنْكُمْ أَحَدٍ Follow on their heels and none of you should turn around. Don't even look around. Go forward. Don't even for a second look around. Carry on going forward. Carry on going forward. Carry on going forward. Allah Akbar. وَامْضُوا حَيْثُ تُؤْمَرُونَ And proceed where you have been commanded to proceed. وَقَضَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ ذَلِكَ الْأَمْرِ We decreed to him this matter. أَنَّ دَابِرَ هَؤُلَاءِ مَقْطُوعٌ مُصْبِحِينَ That the roots of these people shall be severed by the morning. Meaning by the morning, these people will be completely annihilated, destroyed, completely gone. Allahu Akbar. وَجَاءَ أَهْلُ الْمَدِينَةِ يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ The people of the town arrived rejoicingly. Kya hua? What happened here? The angels came in the form of handsome human beings, handsome men. They thought, wow, this is it. May Allah protect us. Looking handsome. Today we're going to have a party. This is what it is opposing. But this is what happened. Now, they came into the house of Lut alayhi salatu wasalam, so they were guests. So what does he say? They are all coming now. Inna ha'ula'i dayfi. These are my guests. فَلَا تَفْضَحُونَ So do not disgrace me. Don't do this. You're going to humiliate me. Please. Allahu Akbar. And then he says, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ Fear Allah. Fear Allah. وَلَا تُخْزُونِ And do not humiliate me. قالوا They replied, أَوَلَمْ نَنْهَكَ عَنِ الْعَالَمِينَ Have we not forbidden you from all the people of the world? قال He said, هَؤُلَاءِ بَنَاتِي إِن كُنْتُمْ فَاعِلِينَ Here are my daughters if you must do something. You want to do something like that? Take my daughters. Either he's referring to his biological daughters, or it could mean all the female in the town, in the location. Because they are all the daughters of the Prophet, basically. In the beginning, if you want to do something, here's my daughters. In another verse, it mentions that they replied by saying that no, you know what we want. We don't want them. We don't want your daughters. We just want these guests. Allahu Akbar. Allah mentions here, لَعَمْرُكَ By your life, إِنَّهُمْ لَفِي سَكْرَتِهِمْ يَعْمَهُونَ They were blinded in their intoxication. Intoxicated with this immoral behavior, immoral thought. Allahu Akbar. So obviously now, Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam has been told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, go, take all the people with you. Don't turn back. Then what happens? Before the morning comes, what's happening? The punishment comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَأَخَذَتْهُمُ الصَّيْحَةُ مُشْرِقِينَ So a scream seized them at sunrise. Such a scream came out that completely they became deaf. They couldn't hear something. Allahu Akbar. That was the first punishment. Then فَجَعَلْنَا عَالِيَهَا سَافِلَهَا We turned them upside down. So all the people were taken right up to the skies. Upside down. All of them. Everyone. That's the second punishment. Allahu Akbar. And then it also mentions وَأَمْطَرْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ حِجَارَةً مِّن سِجِّيلٍ That we turned them upside down and showered clay pebbles on them as well. Clay pebbles, clay stones on them. So they scream, then play pebbles, and then upside down and completely flatten onto the ground. That whole thing is over with. Where we see the Dead Sea, that was that location. Allahu Akbar. The impact of that azab even until now. That's why the Prophet and the Sahaba, whenever they used to pass these sort of places where the ruins, where people punish, the Prophet would say, lower your gaze, look down and quickly go away from here. Allahu Akbar. Inna fi dhalika laayatin lilmutawassimin. Indeed, herein are signs for those who have foresight. Wa innaha labisamirin muqim. These towns are along an accessible thoroughfare. Inna fi dhalika laayatin lilmu'minin. There are certainly signs in this for the believers. Many people will say, "Why there's nothing wrong with homosexuality? It's permissible. Where does it say it's haram?" This, first of all, we need to understand. In the Qur'an Kareem, wherever regarding any amal, Allah Ta'ala mentions a severe punishment. Severe punishment. That is an indication that that crime is gunah kabira. With this wa'id shadid, severe warning from Allah, or severe punishment mentioned by Allah in the Qur'an Kareem clearly regarding that amal, that it means that that amal, that deed is gunah kabira. Now punishment is not given for something who does someone good. If we say it's acceptable, then why punish? If you go to jail, why do you send to jail for? Why? Thieving, killing someone, fraud. For committing a crime, you are sent to jail. If you haven't committed a crime, you are not sent to jail. You are not fined. You are not prisoned. You don't punish for something you do good. Okay? Or something which is acceptable. Oh, you are acceptable, but you go to jail. Why you get? In the dunya, the qanun is that you are punished because, why the punishment is given? Because of your crime. So Allah is not going to mention his punishment because he did something good or it was acceptable. No, this is a clear sign that this amal of homosexuality is not accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's why Allah ta'ala punished this people. And something else we need to mention, that Qur'an Kareem is not a storybook. Qur'an Kareem is not a storybook. Allah Ta'ala does not describe every second minute detail of Ebrahim's whole life or the Prophet's whole life. No, only those sections of their life which is a lesson for the people to come. That has been mentioned here. Why Allah Ta'ala mentioned this specifically here? That's why Allah mentions it. It's a sign. Inna fi dhalika laayatin lilmu'minin. Laayatin lilmutawassimin. For people with foresight, with vision, to understand that this amal, this is where it's going to take you. You're calling upon yourself the punishment and the azab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's not only this, but there are many other verses in the Qur'an Kareem which talks about this amal of homosexuality and how Allah ta'ala has punished those people. And the punishment here, 3 types of punishment. Allah, not just 1, 3. May Allah wa ta'ala grant us a true understanding of Islam and Deen. Beginning? Islam and Deen. Now if someone commits the act of homosexuality according to the ruling of Islam, okay, if he regards it as a sin, he knows what he's doing is wrong, then he's a sinner in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He needs to repent. To tawbah. Simple as that. Okay? But he's still a mu'min. He's still a believer. On the other hand, if someone denies homosexuality being a guna, and he regards it as acceptable, jaiz, permissible, lawful, then what you have done, you gone completely against it in the Qur'an. You made something which Allah has made unlawful and haram. You made it halal, therefore you are out of the fold of Islam. Then that person is out of the fold of Islam. These are the rulings that are aqidah related to this matter. So there are people who indulge in these acts, but they know what they're doing is wrong. It's haram, it's guna. Because of the weakness they understand. For them, they're still believers, but they need to do tawbah. It's a big sin. And if they continue, it can take them to the borders of kufr. Whereas the other hand, those people who completely deny it being haram, they say it's permissible, it's jaiz. Then these verses in the Qur'an Kareem talking about his punishment, does that mean permissible? May Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanallah.